Hello everybody, today I'm going to make some Hello everybody, today I'm going to make some predictions about the future of gaming. Some of these are going to seem really far out to some of you, but bear with me. And these are 10 things, and I'm not ranking them, it's just 10 things that I feel are going to happen in the next 10, 20, or 30 years in gaming. The first thing is a major one. I believe that the people that make video games in the future are going to be people like me and you. It's not going to be the large companies like Nintendo. It's kind of the same way YouTube works. You don't have a bunch of people in Hollywood creating YouTube videos. It's videos from people all across the world, and a lot of them are just common people who make videos. I think that's the way games are going to be in the future, because in the future, I think it's going to be very easy to make your own games. I know there's already tools, and I know there's actually people who are already doing this, but I'm talking about a major shift where the majority of games are made by ordinary people, or teams of ordinary people. People will be able to band together and just basically do work at home jobs to get these games done. This will have an effect on companies like Nintendo. I don't think they're going to be able to compete with that, because the tools that those companies use to create those games, I think they're going to be free and available to the masses in the future. There's going to be some really cool tools that make video game making easy. You're going to be able to, according to me, you're going to be able to take a device, such as a cell phone or something, and just scan in the environment around you really quickly and just dump it into a game. And like I could just do it right now, and all of a sudden you have a game that takes place in a room just like this. And then I could take objects that other people created and dump it into that room, like enemies and stuff. I know they already do this for games like Roblox and stuff like this, but I'm just talking about on a wider scale. There's going to be this centralized network where people can collaborate and create their own games and create these massive games. Imagine 1,000 people connected throughout the world making a game in their spare time or whatever, but just making this massive game together. There's going to be tools that allow that to happen. This next one is something you've already been hearing a lot about, and I'm going to expand upon it. There is not going to be any more physical media. Cartridges, discs, that kind of stuff is going to go by the wayside. It's happening at a very fast pace right now. But I'll go beyond that and say our craving for plastic and discs is going to go away too, because those of us who were raised to like those kind of things, we're going to die out, and the generations that come after us are going to be people who don't care about having a physical object associated with the game. And it's not just going to be cartridges and discs, it's going to be game systems and PCs. I believe the future is not going to have any hardware at all other than a screen of some sort. It's going to be like Google Stadia, but on a much larger scale and done properly, and with the technology of the future that's going to come. I believe there's going to be a universal free-to-use service, kind of like the internet, even though the internet is not technically free, but you know what I mean. There's going to be a universally accepted utility. I'll just call it the Nexus for now. And you're going to be hopping on that Nexus and just choosing a game and playing that game directly from the Nexus. The bottom line is there's not going to be any hardware to run the games on your end, not even PCs. I believe that in the future, all the processing power is going to be in the cloud, basically. There's going to be what I call a mega emulator, and this is also going to be embedded within that cloud I was talking about, within that Nexus. And basically what it is every game that has ever existed, every prototype that's ever been dumped, all the new games that are being made, they're all going to be in one centralized place, and people are just going to go to that place and play whatever game they want to play. and they're going to be able to play and connect to it instantly. There's not any loading, there's not going to be any lag. The technology will just be better in the future. I believe that gaming is going to have its own currency at some point. Maybe not like a blockchain, but just like a shared kind of currency that you can use within games. And to buy any games on this nexus that I've been talking about, if you make a game, you will earn that currency and you'll get income using that currency. And maybe there's a way to cash it out and turn it to dollars. I'm not sure. Maybe I haven't thought this one through. But I believe we're heading in that direction. I also believe that we may see an end to playing games on TVs and monitors. These things will be played with glasses or with some other type of device that sends some kind of signal into our eyeballs. I know that sounds crazy. And I also know it's already been done to some extent with Google glasses or whatever it is. I believe you're going to be able to play any game you want, anywhere you want. And it's going to be like better than 4K images on your eyeballs. And I believe it's going to go beyond video games. I think you're going to be able to walk into a gym to get some exercise, and you do it by putting on these special lenses, and you're going to see yourself on a battlefield, or you're going to see yourself in an alien landscape or something, and you're going to have to fight people by moving around in this room or whatever, and it's going to look 100% real to you, and you're going to get a good workout from it. I'll say one more thing about these glasses. I think you're going to be able to play couch co-op with people who are not actually on your couch. I believe you're going to be able to just look to the side and see your buddy on the couch next to you, and maybe he looks like a hologram, like from Star Wars or something. And I think you're going to be able to sit there and play on a screen that's projected in front of you guys. It's not really there, but you're sharing the same screen. And you're going to be able to play that together. And occasionally you'll be able to look at your bud and say, hey, you know, that was a good move or whatever. I think you're going to be able to play games without a controller. I think you're going to be able to put a headset on or something over your brain, and you're going to be able to just think your way through the game. Maybe even play a first-person shooter where you're controlling the guy with your brain, and the response time would be instant. You don't have to hit a button and have the signal from the controller go to the console and whatever. They already have some technology that does this, and it's in the early phases, but I think it's going to take off after a while, and it'll just be able to read the electrical impulses in your brain. And maybe there's a short calibration tutorial or something where it gets to know your brain and how it works. And then after that, you're just walking around these places and you're playing a game like this. You know, you're just like, maybe you're staring at a wall. I'm not saying that this is some kind of utopia or whatever. There's going to be drawbacks to a lot of things I'm saying today, but I do think we're heading in this direction. I believe there's going to be something called lifelong games. Much like the games today, I think they're going to be able to keep making new content to keep you interested in the game, but I think it's going to be done on a larger scale in the future. You're going to see someone that starts playing the game at 4 years old, and they're still playing it at age 90. That's just bizarre, and it's going to have huge implications for the industry if that happens. I predict that movies and games are going to collide even more than they are now. The tools I mentioned earlier that are going to make things easier for people to program games, I think those are going to be the same for movie makers. They're going to be able to make movies rather easily. And I think they're going to be able to make movie/games where you watch the movie and then you can also take part in the movie and walk around in the movie. If it's like a Western, maybe you go into that Western and you walk down the back alleys and you go inside the saloon that's in the actual movie and you live within the movie. I don't know if this makes sense, but it kind of makes sense in my mind. This is the last prediction. There's going to be more video games in retirement communities and in nursing homes in the future. Yes, you already have some that have Wii bowling set up and maybe a few other things, but many of the retirement communities today have people in them that didn't grow up playing video games because the video games didn't exist. What happens when you get the generation in there that had games their entire lives? I believe gaming is going to be a huge form of entertainment even for older folks in their 80s and 90s. And I think in some ways it's going to be seen as a way to keep your mind fresh when you're in retirement or whatever. I believe the future nursing homes and places like that are going to have arcades and places where you can play these games, maybe some of the older games or what would be older at that time period. But yeah, that's my predictions for the future of video games. Let me know if you have any predictions yourself. May your games make you happy and smart, and may people respect you for playing them. So long, everybody.